Hi, my name is Marcela Aroca. I am a partner at Focus LLP. We're a group of lawyers in Windsor, Ontario, and we have a focus group that practices exclusively tax and tax litigation. If you have any tax-related problems or tax issues, whether it be a tax dispute, a tax planning, a voluntary disclosure, you have questions about your income tax returns filings and issues arising out of that, even business-related tax issues, please feel free to connect with me through our firm website at www.legalfocus.ca or windsortaxlawyers.com. That's Windsor Tax Lawyers with an S because we are a group, so it's plural. .com, and you can book an online Zoom meeting with me or connect with me that way via email, and I'll ensure that we connect so I can answer your questions or that we can get your issue solved. So welcome to this tax talk. This is hopefully going to be the first of several that I'm looking to make to introduce you to what's involved in a tax dispute, sort of from beginning to end, but we'll start at the basics and we'll work into different concepts over the course of these series of tax talks on issues relating to things like residence, other dispute resolutions like director's liability, dividends, etc. So if you have any kind of those issues, keep tuned and hopefully I'll be able to answer all of your questions at that point in time. Also, feel free to ask me any questions because I would happily answer questions in the subsequent videos that I'll be posting. So on this one, I thought I would start at the beginning, and I thought I would talk to you about tax filing deadlines because that's something that will likely affect all of us at one point or another. So there are several entities under the Income Tax Act that are required to file tax returns. And interestingly enough, they are not necessarily all treated in the same way. So individuals, for example, which probably is a category that affects most of you, are aware that you have to file your income tax return on by April 30th of the subsequent taxation year. So for example, if you're for your 2019 taxation year, you would have to file your income tax return by April 30th of 2020. As an individual, really that encompasses the groups of employed individuals, students, retired persons, but does not include self-employed persons, people that are working on their own and earning business income. For self-employed individuals, the tax filing deadline to file your tax return is June 15th of the subsequent year. So for 2019, your tax filing deadline would be June 15th of 2020. For entities like corporations, now of course the board of directors are the ones that manage corporations and would have this obligation of ensuring that tax returns are filed, but a corporation files a different tax return than an individual does. They file a T2. And corporation filing deadlines are 6 months after their fiscal year end or their financial year end, or specifically your tax year end for a corporation. So if the tax corporation year end, for example, is in fact January 1st of any given year, then you have until June 30th. That corporation would have till June 30th to file their T2 tax return. Now, some very interesting measures have come out from the government related to the COVID-19 pandemic, where they have extended the deadlines of these tax returns specifically to allow taxpayers the time that they need and the necessary time frame to gather up the relevant documents in order to be able to even be in a position to file their tax returns. So for individuals, that deadline of April 30th has been extended to June 1st. For corporations, and this would only apply if the corporate tax filing deadline landed on or after March 18th and before June 1st. If that corporate tax deadline landed in that time frame, then the time frame has been extended to June 1st. And for self-employed individuals, there has been no extension because self-employed individuals already have the ability to file their tax return by June 15th. And that would apply not only to the self-employed individual, but also to his or her spouse or common law partner. So both returns would be due on June 15th. There are other entities under the Income Tax Act that are a little bit beyond the scope of what I want to talk about in this particular video that also have to file income tax returns, or perhaps an information return. For example, you've got charities, non-residents, estates and deceased individuals. They all have to file tax returns as well, and their deadlines are going to be slightly different. For entities that aren't taxable entities, but certainly have obligations to the government, that tax-related obligations, like a partnership, they file an information return. Partnerships are required to file their information returns typically by March 31st. That deadline has also been extended as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the government has extended that deadline to May 1st. Now, interestingly enough, about the importance of filing a tax return, not everyone has to, but you do if you owe taxes, and that's just one of many reasons. And if you owe taxes, you do need to file a tax return. And the importance of filing the tax return is not simply only because you should and must if you owe taxes, but also because the information that you provide in the income tax return gives the government the information they need to assess other tax-related matters. For example, your eligibility for your GST or HST credit, or the Canada Child Benefit. Those are two examples of benefits that a taxpayer would receive, and that is calculated off of the information that is filed in your tax return. So for those individuals that do need that extended period of time this particular year to file their tax return, what the government has also done to assist those taxpayers is they will, if they don't have your information in enough time to ensure the continuity of your benefits, if you're already receiving them, they will likely use your 2018 figures and then amend those or somehow change those figures to align with the 2019 tax figures once you file your tax return. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please press like, and that will certainly give me the motivation to continue on. If you think anyone might find this useful, please feel free to share the video. Again, I encourage you, if you have any questions, please connect with me. We can do a Zoom meeting. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one at windsortaxlawyers.com, and there's an ability there for you to file or to connect with me directly and book an online Zoom meeting with me. And again, feel free to share this video with your friends. Looking forward to our next tax talk, and until then, I will bid you adieu.